Every time I edit a vlog, I tell myself that next time I film one, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna write down notes, I'm gonna organize my thoughts, I'm gonna actually figure out what I wanna say before I get the camera out and start talking. Have I done that though? Of course not! Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's reading vlog maybe requires some explanation. It's a weekend reading vlog, but it is inspired by Lauren Wade, or reading books that I picked up because Lauren recommended them. I haven't totally decided what I'm going to call it yet, but it'll be something along those lines. The thought is, back either late last year or early this year, I can't remember which, Lana did a video in which she did a reading vlog and read books that she had bought because Jean of Jean Bookish Thoughts recommended them. And I thought, that sounds like an awesome idea. I need to do something like that. And I thought, since Lauren's channel was the inspiration for me to start mine, hers would be a great place to start with that. This sort of weekend, it's Thursday right now, I have the day off for a statutory holiday, and then I'm working tomorrow, and then I've got Saturday, Sunday off. Basically long weekend with 8 hours of work thrown in, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be reading, hopefully, 3 books that I picked up specifically because Lauren talked about them and said they were so good. The books I'm going to be reading are Trainwreck by Sady Doyle, which is about feminism and women who are commonly labeled as like train wrecks or who don't behave the way that society expects and wants them to, and what that means. I'm not explaining this well. I'll talk about it more when I actually get to reading the book. Then I'm also going to read Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. Really excited about this one. Intergenerational family story, jumping through time. Sounds fantastic. I read another Jacqueline Woodson book at the beginning of June and really enjoyed that, so I'm looking forward to that one. And also I'm going to read Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss because I have had this book for like a year now. It is gorgeous. I am so excited about it. Everything I've heard about Sarah Moss sounds incredible, and I've never gotten to her books. I'm gonna do that as well. But for now, I've just been strawberry picking. This is why I have a glowing mess, and my hair is a bit of a disaster because I was wearing a hat. And I'm going to, I think, swing by my grandparents' house to pick up some rhubarb. So I'm gonna do some driving for now, but then this afternoon, I am definitely gonna do some reading. What is it about unexpected days off that always seem way longer in your head than they are in reality? I had such big plans. I was like, I'm gonna go strawberry picking, then I'll probably go for a walk, and then I've got 2 videos to edit, and I can probably read a whole short book today. It'll be great. And now it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. I did go strawberry picking and make an unexpected detour to my grandparents, which took the rest of the morning and early part of the afternoon. But like, I don't want to do anything now because I feel like I can't do everything. But that's not a healthy way to look at things. I think, much as I want to get into my reading, I think I'm going to edit first. I've got 2 tag videos to edit, but I don't have that much footage for either of them, so hopefully it'll only take a couple hours. I'm so slow at editing. I really need to get faster at it, but I don't, like, how do you do that? How do you get faster at it? Sometimes I'm really just like a cat when it comes to doing something. If I set out head on, I'm just gonna sit down and start doing this thing, it's impossible. I will procrastinate for hours. But if I kind of come at it from the side and like pretend I'm not even doing it at first, I can get sucked right in. After I finished my editing earlier, I sat down with Ghost Wall, which is gorgeous, so let me actually pick it up. It is such a beautiful book, and it's also super short. The edition I have is only like 130 pages, and it's clearly not like big pages. So I thought, oh, I'll just pick it up. I'll just pick it up quickly while I'm eating dinner. I'll read the first few pages. And of course, I ended up reading the whole book, which I won't lie, is a really great start, and I'm feeling a lot better about the reading weekend, having finished something. So, Ghost Wall. Oh my, this book is so much that I don't even know how to talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna try. The premise is that we've got this working class man who's got this huge interest in Iron Age Britain. It's set in, I think, the 90s? Maybe the late 80s? I'm not positive. There's a reference to the Berlin Wall coming down. We've got this man who's obsessed with history, but isn't able to, pursue it as a career. And he he forces his wife and his 17-year-old daughter to spend their 2 weeks or something of vacation with an archaeology class who's doing experimental history and trying to recreate Iron Age techniques and build things using Iron Age tools and stuff like that. Except this father takes it super seriously. The course is all sort of yeah, we're here to learn, we're here to try stuff out, but also we're sleeping in tents. And we don't need to sleep in the actual hut. They're not taking it as seriously, but this guy really is. Also, he's awful and incredibly abusive and just the worst character ever. I think this book was the right length. I think if it had been any longer, I would not have been able to keep going and keep reading about how terrible this situation is and how awfully this man is treating his daughter and his wife. And just being a dick in general. Thankfully, it was short and punchy instead of long and drawn out. Interestingly, though, the father, obviously evil, terrible character, will make you so freaking angry. But then there's this other, senior male character who's the professor who's organizing this course. And at first, I thought he was going to be a counterpart to the father, the good guy to the father's bad guy. That's sort of how he's presented at first. Then you keep getting to know him, and you see more and more of his personality, and realize that under the friendly, casual, chill, call me Jim, I'm a nice guyness, he is also super fucked up in his own way. And oh my goodness, it was incredible. It was so beautifully written. I thought the way that Moss depicted Sylvie, the main character's view of the world and her instinctive responses, the way she interacts with the world around her, I thought that was just masterfully written. I thankfully can't speak from experience as to how a person might react after facing what sounds like probably close to 17 years of emotional, physical, verbal abuse and seeing her mother suffer the same thing. But there's a lot of things that did feel like they rang true, and her character and her thoughts and all of that are written with such nuance and complexity and just, I thought, incredibly well done. This book, wow, yes. Amazing recommendation. I am so glad that I read it. So far, we are 1 for 1 with this being an absolute knock it out of the park win. I was waiting until I felt like I looked cute and didn't feel like my grumpy alter ego to start this vlog, but that's not looking super likely today. It's 4 p.m. I just finished with the couple Booktube tasks I had to do today, and I just feel, where did my weekend go? When I went to bed last night, I was like, hey, the chores and Booktube stuff I have to do tomorrow, not that much. I can probably finish by lunchtime, which for us on the weekend is usually 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, but I can get this done in the morning, and then after lunch I can just chill out and read. Now it's 4 p.m. and I'm not too sure what happened. I guess that's only 3 hours behind where I thought I would be. I don't know. Just having a very meh start to my weekend. But I'm hoping I can turn that around. It's the afternoon. I have finished everything I need to now, so I'm going to start reading. I'm going to pick up Trainwreck by Sady Doyle. I still don't know how to describe this, so let me get into it, and I will check back in once I know actually how to tell you about it. Okay, wow, I have read over half the book now. I've read the first 2 parts, and I am both like, wow, that's incredible, and also I have no idea how to talk about this briefly in a, 4-minute clip. Let's start with the easy stuff. I made strawberry rhubarb crumble with the strawberries that I picked on Thursday and the rhubarb that I picked from my grandparents' garden. Oh my goodness, it is delicious. Strawberry rhubarb is like possibly my favorite flavor combination when it comes to fruits. Peach and blackberry is good too, but ooh, strawberry rhubarb. I can't be bothered to make a pastry. I'm not gonna make a pie. Crumble is just as good, and it's like so easy to do. Anyways, like I said, that's the easy stuff. The hard stuff, how to talk about this book. One thing that comes to mind quickly is it's really good, but a lot of what it pulls from does feel dated. It's only 5 years old. This was published in 2016, but because it's very much focused on, well, not entirely focused, but because it does draw significant examples from pop culture and reference people who are in the public eye, those things can get out of date very quickly. The Kim Kardashian we see now in 2021 is not at all the same as the Kim Kardashian we were looking at as the public in 2016. Our approach to celebrities, people change in the public perception in time. That's not a critique of the book. It's still good, just that I'm noticing how quickly something like this feels old. I could read, say, a history book from 20, 30 years ago, and depending on when it's writing about and how it was written, you don't always even notice. I certainly would never notice that a history book was written 5 years ago unless there's been some huge advancement in the field that it's talking about. And I can't think of anything where there's been such a massive advancement in the field that I'm aware of as a non-historian in the last 5 years. I don't think I'm explaining this well. I think it's a tricky genre. I think this would have been at its absolute most impactful when it first came out. And while it's still really good, it does age quickly. That being said, a lot of the concepts it highlights are not ones that have gone anywhere, and they're things that have been prominent in our society for a long time. One of the elements I find really interesting is that in most of the chapters, I'm not sure if it's all of them or not, but in most of the chapters, Doyle draws from a mix of modern pop culture examples of train wrecks and also historical examples that illustrate similar ideas. So in the chapter talking about sex and sexuality and women engaging in sex, and that being one of the sort of elements that can contribute to be a woman being considered a train wreck, she refers to modern celebrities and Mary Wollstonecraft. So I think it adds a lot of depth, and I think using these historic examples as well and showing how some of these issues have evolved through time, Doyle really reinforces her argument. If I've managed to just talk for like 4 minutes straight without really saying anything, it's because I don't know how to describe this book. It's one of those ones where I love reading it. I'm so intrigued. I'm so engaged with it. I'm highlighting everything and going, wow, that is so insightful. That is so insightful. And then I try and actually talk about it, and I don't know how to. It is late now though, so I'm just going to eat my crumble and then go to bed. And I didn't quite finish this book today, but I've only got an hour left, so I'll finish it tomorrow. That's not too bad. I'm actually making much better progress than I thought I would when I sat down at 4 and started filming today. So I guess I've sort of turned the day around. Yeah, I thought this evening was going to leave me feeling totally unproductive, but it really hasn't, and that feels good. No surprise here, it took me way longer today to finish Trainwreck than I expected, even though I only had an hour of reading left to do, but that's okay. It's okay to take time to rest. And Okay, how do I feel about this on finishing it? So when I updated last night, I think I mentioned that the first part I liked a lot, and then the second part I didn't love. Well, today, the third part I really liked. I thought it was really interesting and really compelling, and the conclusion didn't quite hit home, so it has sort of up-down pattern. On the whole, I thought the discussion of the train wreck's role in society and how often the train wreck serves as a scapegoat and a place to put all of our hatred, I found that really interesting and really well put forward. It's just that the conclusion about how as a society we're turning more and more towards grabbing onto one random woman in the crowd online and making her a train wreck. There are parts of it that I found really interesting and really accurate and really important to consider. I don't even know how to talk about this section. It was interesting. I would be interested in reading what someone would write today. I think there's a lot of discussion that we have had in the last 5 years that would really benefit the conclusion. That's another section where I feel like the age of this book is really showing. But on the whole, it was really interesting. I don't know if it's a 5-star read. 2 out of the sections were 5 stars and the other 2 were probably 4 stars, so I might round it down to a 4-star. It was really interesting. It was really, in a way that I didn't expect, it really promoted a lot of self-reflection and thinking critically about my own approach to the world. And I think sometimes, for me at least, I can forget that I'm influenced by these things, and I think, oh, I'm not someone who falls for advertising. I'm not someone who falls for what society tells me. But I am. None of us exist outside of our society, and even if we think it doesn't, we're still influenced by it. So those were some really interesting thoughts to be having and things to be considering. Okay, I don't know how to stop talking about this, but it was a good book, and I guess it was a great recommendation. I absolutely really enjoyed this, and I think Lauren recommended it a few years ago now, I think. So it probably was even more relevant when she recommended it, so I can't hold the fact that time has passed against her recommendation. Definitely going to be continuing to pick up books on feminism that she recommends. It's still really early in the afternoon, so I'm going to start Right at the Bone, which is less than 200 pages, so maybe I can read that before dinner? What do you think? Will I be able to read a 200-page book in the next 4 hours? It sounds very doable, but we'll see. I just finished Right at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. I don't think I ever explained what this book is. It's an intergenerational family story that centers around a 16-year-old girl in Brooklyn in around the year 2000, but we explore elements of her life, her mother's life, because her mother had her when she was very young, her grandparents, her father. We get sort of this whole picture and we see various parts of the story from many different people's perspective. So you're probably going, okay, Rosie, you loved it. And I did. I totally 100% loved this book. If you saw my Queer Lit Readathon vlog, which will be up here, then you will know that I read Jacqueline Woodson's Another Brooklyn at the beginning of this month, and it was fantastic. It was a really good book, but it left me feeling like it wasn't quite what I wanted, or it didn't quite deliver what I thought it had the potential to. And let me tell you, Right at the Bone absolutely did. It felt much more unabashedly character focused. Obviously, a lot of things happen, even though it's a short book, because we're jumping through time and seeing different people's experiences. But everything feels incredibly centered on these people and what they are experiencing, and how the events that they are going through are shaping them and influencing them. And I didn't think I was a super character-driven reader. In this type of book, it is absolutely what I want. I want to see all of these different people who, even if they only appear for a chapter or two, are so incredibly fleshed out and just jump off the page at you. I love that shit. And I feel like Right at the Bone did that so well. There were so many different perspectives and so many different characters, and even though it was a short book, every single one of them felt distinct and interesting and just fascinating. I did not expect to finish all my reading for this vlog so early. I'm actually kind of amazed at how quickly I read that one, but I guess I don't know, maybe I'll plan some videos now. I've got a lot to do on that front, so maybe I'll take the rest of the afternoon and do that. It's Monday now. When I finished that last clip on Sunday, I really thought I was gonna film some more of our evening, but that didn't end up happening. So I'm popping on real quick now just to close things out. I've been sitting here trying to figure out what to say to actually finish this, and I don't really know. So I don't know, was this a format you found interesting? Would you like to see me do more vlogs like this where I read books inspired by a particular booktuber? I think it could be kind of fun, and I've got some other people in mind that I would like to copycat from. So if that sounds fun, make sure to let me know down below. And also, if you've read any of these books, what did you think of them? Did you agree? Did you disagree? Are you gonna pick any of them up? I would love to know. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a like down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.